Here we go. Dallas Martz. Eric. What is it? Curator. We got everyone helping me today. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining back over here on our daily show. We got some breaking news. Joining us now is Eric with the NCBA. What is the news?
Yeah, it's great to finally talk about it publicly, but we've officially committed our D-1 World Series to Alton, Illinois as well. So last time we were in town about a month ago, we were talking shop on the D-2 event, and what can I say? The city and Dallas and everybody down there kind of just won our hearts over, and we're coming back for D-1 as well. So we're excited.
This is incredible. And Dallas, this has got to be just feeling great for you guys.
Yeah, very exciting. Like we were talking just a few minutes ago, you know, one of the goals with Lloyd Hopkins Field is to bring national level tournaments to the area, and it's good for, you know, lots of reasons, but the two big ones are bringing quality, you know, high level baseball to the area, and also the economic impact to the community. So Eric, we're real excited about having both D-1 and D-2 coming to Alton this spring.
Yeah, and it's great, like I was just saying, to finally talk about it. You know, we've been working on this for quite a bit. Like we were saying, our D-2 event got solidified. Before the D-1 event, we actually came down specifically to look for D-1, just because the event's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit longer, it's got some more bells and whistles, and everything, you know, checked off and more. So we're really excited about having both events there. In the big picture, but especially D-1, we're really looking forward to it as well.
Eric, talk to us a little bit about the differences between the D-1 and D-2 tournaments. You mentioned there's a few more bells and whistles to D-1. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the bells and whistles are more on the operational side of the event. We do a broadcast. We stream everything live. We have a full-time radio guy, Ryan Norris, who's been doing this for over a decade with us. You know, live, you know, you tune in, it's a live stream. It's just like watching a normal baseball game on TV. We got all the graphics and everything, got music, commercials, everything. It's great. But as far as the actual gameplay itself, you know, the baseball is a little bit better, I will say, but these teams are just more established. They've been around longer. You know, club sports, for anybody who's unfamiliar with it, a lot of it is really just off the field, day-to-day stuff. You know, how organized are you? You know, how much on top of your stuff? It's a full-time job essentially to run these club teams, and these D-1 teams, they've been around a lot longer. They're more established. They kind of get it, if that makes sense. And you know, they're kind of a fine-tuned, well-oiled machine at this point, if that makes sense.
Eric, that's incredible. And so whenever you were coming here the first time, you know, you already said that you guys were kind of looking at this as a D-1 landing zone. Were there any others that kind of competed with the Alton area, or was Alton's and Lloyd Hopkins Field just that well prepared to handle this type of tournament?
I think it really just goes back to Alton. They are really that well prepared. All the amenities that we saw down in the site visit, from the downtown to the field to the hotel to really everything across the board that we look for, kind of just speaks to Alton, Illinois. It speaks to Lloyd Hopkins. It speaks to the resources, the staff, the people that we were working with. You know, really across the board, it kind of just spoke to everything that we need as a staff and as a tournament. You know, to really put on an event that these teams deserve, because these guys work so hard throughout the year. They're student-run organizations. You know, everything falls back on them at the end of the day, and we want to give them the first-class experience they deserve.
Absolutely. And another question on this is just, you know, we keep talking about economic impact. Do we have a final number yet of what that's going to deliver?
Well, there's estimations out there. You know, I think between the two tournaments, it's safe to say, you know, we should hit $1 million out of this in a couple of weeks. Yeah, you know, when you start adding up all the hotel rooms, you know, the hotel room stuff is easy to track, you know, because, you know, you can work directly, you know, with the hotel on those numbers. But, you know, these people, they're going to come here and eat. They're going to do some shopping. They're going to come downtown to some of the local establishments and spend money. So, you know, at the end of the day, there is a formula, and once we get those numbers, you know, we'll be able to know for sure. But I think it's safe to say, you know, over $1 million will be spent in the RiverBend area, you know, during these two tournaments. So it's just a great opportunity.
For sure, and just kind of piggyback off what you were saying, Dallas. You know, the hotel room nights alone, I believe, will do around 700, if not more, total room nights between the two events. The D-2 events, I believe 5 days, so everybody will be in town for 6 days just because of the travel day and whatnot. And then the D-1 events, 8 days. So technically they'll be around for 9 days throughout both. So that's 15, 16 days total. We'll have 8 teams in the area. Room nights, you know, they'll be going out, as Dallas said, and experiencing downtown, just kind of pumping money back into the city.
That's incredible. And, you know, something else that's really remarkable. So are these events going to piggyback off of each other? Are we going to have D-1 and then a month later is it D2, then a month later D-1? I wasn't picking that up early on.
Yeah, they'll be pretty. Go ahead, Eric. You go ahead.
No, yeah. It's basically just a 1-day break.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Division II will start on the 19th, I believe, off the top of my head. And then the championship game is Tuesday, the 23rd. And then Division I will start on Friday, I believe. So maybe a couple days in between. But we'll be right back to each other, and we'll kind of just keep the momentum going.
Perfect segue. Dallas, are you guys ready for this day break, and then you're right back to it?
I tell you, we're going to start getting busy at the field next month with Lewis and Clark starting. So baseball season is just around the corner. But no, we're real excited about those couple weeks in May. And the nice thing about it is the night of the Division I championship game, the very next night is the River Dragons home opener. So besides that, we won't be up to much.
Well, and that
we just want to get busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's got to feel good. I mean, you come here. I mean, the River Dragons, year 3 starting?
Yep.
And, you're having all this development in the baseball world, and not even just that, but the development of the community kind of around this team. That's got to feel really good to partner with NCBA and really kind of drive this forward.
Yeah, it is a great feeling. I mean, when we started this, there was so many unknowns, and now here we are going into year 3 of the River Dragons, but we also have this basically a brand new playing surface out there that we're able to do a lot more than just the River Dragons. It's gonna, it's Lewis and Clark's home field now. It's been Marquette's home field for a long time, and we hope to make this the NCBA World Series, somewhat of a permanent fixture here, and that's the goal. And we're going to work really hard to do that, and kind of go from there.
That's incredible. And Eric, you've talked before about some of the qualifications that you look at in certain organizations, certain jurisdictions, certain towns. Take us through just how you guys connected with Dallas and connected with Lloyd Hopkins Field. Was it just a perfect fit?
It was really just a perfect fit. And going back to the very start of this process, I actually believe it was Dallas who reached out to us. And kind of just put this opportunity on our radar. And from there, we've kind of just taken it one step at a time. The field speaks for itself. We did the site visit back in December, shortly before the holidays. And, everything from the city to the field to the resources and the amenities, it really just checks every single box.
And now, was the D-1 World Series, have these always been located in more of the coastal towns, or have we had a lot of Midwest towns hosting this tournament? Because that's kind of new, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Division II event has been out in Kansas recently. That is kind of central. Division I, though, has really been East Coast. It's been in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. It's really been on the East Coast. So we're really excited. One of the big things we always hear from our teams is, hey, come more central. Come out to us. We're sick of taking these flights. We want the East Coast teams to feel what we're feeling. So that's a really big icing on the cake. And the other one, obviously, is you guys being so close to St. Louis. You got a major airport right in your backyard. For those teams who do have to fly in, it's a really great asset to have that, 20, 25 minutes away, whatever it may be.
This is just huge. And I'll let you and Dallas once again kind of overview the event, and I'll, do what I do best and say the floor is yours, Senators. Tell us fill us in on all the details, and I'm going to stay out of your two's way.
You want to take the lead on this, Eric? Sure. It does feel weird to talk about this in public. We've been talking about it a lot on the phone and text messages, and now here we are, talking about it. But the Division II thing, the Division II tournament will kick things off. That runs May 19th through the 23rd, and then a couple-day break in between. And the Division I goes from May 26th right up to June 1st with the championship game. And we just can't be more excited about having that here at Lloyd Hopkins Field. And
how many teams competing?
8 teams each event. And one thing I would love to throw out is really just give a shout out to these teams.
Yep.
No matter which 8 they are, a lot of people don't really, I guess they're not familiar with the club sports. All of these guys, they're doing it for the love of the game. They could have played ball at the next level somewhere else at a different school. Maybe it's a smaller school. Maybe it was a school they didn't want to go to. They chose a different school. Maybe it was because of academics or, whatever the reason may be. But now they get to continue playing at the college level. And everything they do falls back on their shoulders. The fundraising, travel, the, securing fields, the uniform purchasing, equipment purchasing, everything they do is back on their shoulders. With little to no funding from the school, no less, too. So these guys are really just doing it for the love of the game. And it shows when they play, especially when you get to this point at the World Series. It's going to be 8 best teams in the country. Our Division I level has 132 teams. Our Division II level has 122. So at this point, it's really going to be the best of the best, and it's going to be some great baseball.
Well, Eric, I know when you guys were here in December, Sandy Sanderson, the NCBA president, was with you, of course, and he told an interesting story about the level of baseball players that are involved in club sports. And I thought his story was pretty interesting because he played club baseball when he was in college, and he said right up, he goes, I wasn't a Division I baseball player. I was probably a Division II or Division III level baseball player, but I wanted that education from Penn State. And so the club sports gave him the opportunity to go to Penn State, get his education there, but also play baseball. I mean, so it's just because this is club baseball, it's not just it's a lot more than just a beer league. These guys are good baseball players, and we're going to see a lot of talent come to Alton this May.
Absolutely. And I think that's well said. A lot of these guys are going to different schools for their various reasons, whether they didn't want the commitment of playing at the school team, they wanted to choose certain schools for majors, academics, whatever it may be. But a lot of these guys, they are damn good baseball players. We really equate it sometimes to, we get the question, well, how do you equate it to NCAA? I would say Division II. But at the same time, we do have a lot of Division I caliber players. We've had guys get drafted out of our league. We've had guys make it to the pros out of our league. So, these are very good baseball players. They take it very seriously. And, it's fun to watch.
And let me pop back in here just to kind of circle back. And I am so ready for this tournament. I think you guys hit it right on the head to have, passionate players, really passionate to get this, their teams, organized, to get them formed. When is the best time to look for ticket prices, and how can we find tickets to these events?
Yeah, so we actually have yet to make a public announcement on our website. But the first time I'm talking about it, which is exciting. But everything will be released today. We're going to have a press release going out. We're going to have our websites fully updated with all the information surrounding Alton, Illinois, the field, the area, the ticket pricing. So we'll have a World Series page, a hub essentially, that'll cover everything and anything, from ticket prices to brackets to information about the event to, the schedule to all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we got about a couple of minutes left. Dallas, Eric, take it away for us if you guys want, and just kind of preview this and summarize it.
I've got a question for you, Eric. Cool. If obviously we're talking a lot about the postseason for club baseball, but what's the easiest and best way to follow these teams throughout their regular season and kind of track and see who's playing well and get a little bit of a preview of who we might expect to see here in Alton in May?
Yeah, so our website, clubbaseball.org, is probably the best resource for that. It's got everything from the standings page to the schedules to, like I was saying, the World Series page, playoff pages. It's got everything laid out for you to kind of just follow along, like you said. You can see what teams are doing well, what teams aren't. You can follow along with playoff events because basically these teams, the World Series teams, are going to be qualified through a regional tournament, which will be a couple weeks prior. So when the time comes in, late April, early May, all those region tournaments will have there are 4 teams qualified for it, and those winners end up going to the World Series. So all that information can be found on our website. You can follow along. Our social media, we're on Twitter and Facebook. We post regularly on there. Just search NCBA. But yeah, it's going to get real exciting in a couple of weeks because February 1st is our kickoff date for the spring season, and we're off from there.
That's incredible. And by the way, guys, clubbaseball.org once again, and I love it right here on the website, Dallas. It says 2023 World Series information will be updated soon, and we just updated you on it right now. Anything else you guys want to say before I let you go?
I would love to just say thanks to everybody over there. Everybody from Dallas with the River Dragons to everybody at the Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau. All the above. You guys have been instrumental, in this entire process. Everything from putting it on our radar to really giving us anything we need to, just being our right-hand man throughout this all and giving us this opportunity. So just wanted to say thanks.
Well, the thanks actually, it goes both directions. Like I said earlier, we can't be more excited about having you guys here in Alton in May. And we just can't thank you enough for giving our community the opportunity to host such a great 2 events, not just one, but a really fun 2 weeks of baseball coming up.
Yeah, we're excited to make this announcement later today and kind of just see what the teams have to say about it. I'm sure they're going to be pumped. There's only pros with everything that's going on here, and it's going to be exciting to get the cat out of the bag.
Absolutely. And guys, really want to thank you again. The Summer of Baseball coming up this year over at Lloyd Hopkins Field, D2, D1, and I'm not going to update my windows yet. I'm talking. and everything else in between with the River Dragons. Eric, Dallas, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, guys.
Awesome. 9:51 right here, heart of the River Bend on this 19th day of January. Breaking the news that the D-1 World Series is coming to Lloyd Hopkins Field. We're coming back to wrap up our 9 o'clock right after this in downtown Alton.